I'm here this week with Ren and Mike of Extant Dodo's Productions. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
We got two people on. Actually, this is the first time we've ever done an interview with two people on the show, so that's kind of fun. Ren, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure. Well, I went to school down in Florida, my undergraduate degree, and I just recently started a medical program in Chicago. I'm doing a MD PhD program, which is sort of a combined degree. You do your medical portion first, you do 2 years of that, then you go and you finish your PhD, take however long that takes, hopefully 3 to 4 years. You go back, you finish up, you get your medical degree, you end up with both, and then you could do medical research.
And Mike, how about you?
So, yeah, I also got my undergraduate degree in Florida. Ren and I were in the same lab doing undergraduate research. And currently I'm also an MD PhD student in Central Illinois.
Guys, you're going to have to pick amongst yourself who's going to answer this question. But why don't you tell us a little about Extant Dodo's Productions, where you got the name, what it means, and what you guys do.
Sure, I'll take that.
Well, yeah, Ren came up with the name, so that one kind of falls to him.
Yeah, well, the name originally came about because we were watching a video that was called Flock of Dodos, and it was premiered mostly for people that were in evolutionary research. And the theme of the video was that the response of the evolution community to the current challenge of creationism is markedly absent, and scientists do a pretty poor job of communicating to the public in general. So the twist of the movie was that the dodos were the evolutionary researchers who weren't able to adapt to the situation quick enough, and in the end would extinct. So in formulating our idea for a response to the creation of nonsense we had out there, we chose the name of Extant Dodos, saying that we were still around and able to adapt.
Okay. Great name, great concept. So what have you guys been doing then? What does Extant Dodos do? What's your raison d'etre?
All right, so with Creationist Media, they have many videos available in which they make numerous claims, and a lot of these videos aren't sort of focused towards science, toward the scientific community. They're focused at the lay people, especially toward younger children. And so what we do is we take their videos and we create a critical analysis by allowing them to make their claim and then presenting a text slide that explains sort of the actual science and how the claim is incorrect.
Now, the reason I asked you guys to appear on this show was this controversy surrounding your videos rebutting the claims of, the young earth creationists, we call them. And these are a group calling themselves Creation Science Evangelism. Can you describe the videos that you're talking about, what they look like? And I'm talking about the original videos and then what you did to them. What did they say?
Creation Science Evangelism for many, many years was headed by Kent Hovind. And what he would do is his videos were basically him standing on a pulpit in a church and then lecturing to basically a congregation. It would be him, and he would have like a PowerPoint slides, and he would go through and make claims that, the earth is 6,000 years old, humans ran around with dinosaurs. What we did is we took his video and basically we chopped out all of the sort of the fluff that he put in. He would tell family vacation stories, and basically we cut it down to the bare bones where it was basically just his claims against science, and then we just interspersed that with the text slides detailing the actual science and how he was wrong.
Which surprisingly left very little of the original videos.
So you lost very little, or you were left with very little?
We were left with very little. There's very little science. It's mostly non sequiturs and stories and ad hominem attacks and arguments from ignorance. There's very little scientific evidence that's presented.
So basically someone could watch your video and hear the claims that these people are making, and at the same time have your rebuttal, which is a factual or scientific rebuttal.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about this group, Creation Science Evangelism. As you mentioned, Mike, this group was founded by Mr. Hovind, Ken Hovind, who is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for tax evasion at the Federal Correctional Institution in Edfield, South Carolina. Because he is in prison, apparently the ministry is currently being run by his son. And according to the Wikipedia article I read about him, the allegations against Mr. Hovind at the tax evasion trial involved him refusing to pay federal taxes and refusing even to acknowledge that the U.S. government has the right to tax him in the first place. And all of his income rightly belongs to God. And I'd never seen a video from Courageous Science Evangelism, but they do appear to be pretty slick. Some of them seem to have a pretty high production value. So can you talk about some of the claims that are made in these videos that you guys felt a need to rebut?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think the claim that really sort of first drew us into this was actually when Mr. Hovind actually began attacking the medical community. So he's a grand sort of conspiracy theorist person. And he basically makes a lot of allegations about everyone from, I mean, as you can imagine, the government to sort of the medical and scientific community. And sort of the claim that infuriated us so much that we actually started making the videos was he claimed that eating the seeds of apricots could cure all forms of cancer.
Oh, the old Laetrile idea?
Yeah. And Laetrile has been medically tested in actual medical trials, and its only known effect is to actually cause cyanide toxicity. But he's peddled it, and that's just horrible.
So you guys felt a need to rebut that, but I gather you sort of expanded, and now you rebut almost anything that might come out of this group.
Yes. Well, along the way, I mean, we both came out of an evolutionary ecology lab. And so, I mean, we had access to sort of all of the materials needed to rebut everything he was saying.
Now, when you made these videos, were you worried about copyright infringement? Because you've said that you put his videos interspersed with your comments.
Right. No, I don't think we were very worried about copyright. I think originally we were a little bit worried about slander, but we were pretty sure that everything we were doing fell under fair use. But even more so, he states in his videos on his website that none of his material is copyrighted. In fact, a clip that we used in the original video was him stating that the material was free to use and to spread around. So we weren't really concerned with it much at all at the time.
So he explicitly stated on the website with these videos that there is no claim of copyright here. You can essentially copy them, distribute them, do what you want.
Yeah,
the direct quote from his website was, none of the materials from Creation Science Evangelism are copyrighted.
Now, I gather, you put it, your videos were on YouTube and all around. Now, I gather that this group has complained to YouTube and maybe threatened you guys with a lawsuit. So what's going on about that?
So basically, what they've done is they've utilized the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So under the DMCA, anyone can file a complaint with a service provider claiming copyright infringement. And under the DMCA, the service provider is allowed to then immediately pull the material. And by doing so, they've basically become immune to any liability involving it. And so what CSE has done is they went through and basically any video critical of Mr. Hovind's claims, they claimed copyright over.
Right. Even videos that use none of his material at all, actually.
So basically, they went through, somebody went through and complained to YouTube that this is a violation of copyright, and YouTube, to protect its legal rights so they don't get sued, says, okay, it's all gone.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Now,